everybody, so today I've got a foundation review for this one from Onesize, their new foundation. This is Turn Up the Base Full Beat Liquid Foundation, and I've also got the Christmas holiday collection from Vieve, which is the eyeshadow, the red lipstick and the red cream blush. So I'm going to be trying all of these on for you today. The foundation I've actually been testing out over the last sort of week, so I can give you quite a lot of thoughts about this foundation, and let me tell you, this was not an easy ride. Anyway, I'm looking forward to showing you everything, and I haven't tried anything yet from this Vieve Holiday collection, so I'm really looking forward. This will be my first reaction obviously to these, and I can't wait to try them on, I really can't. Anyway, my name is Hannah. If you're not familiar with this channel and you're not subscribed, I am 47. I'm not a professional. I'm just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty. And here on my channel, I like to review the latest products, show you some of my favourite looks, give you beauty news, anything at all that might interest you really. And if you think you'd enjoy this sort of content, I'd love it so much if you liked and subscribed. It's super helpful to my channel. And if you hit that notification bell, you won't miss my next video. If you're already subscribed, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very, very much for returning. You know how much I appreciate you all. And my skin tone, if that's helpful to you, I've got fair to light skin with neutral undertones and combination skin, which is mostly dry, but I do get an oily T-zone. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get on with this video. So at the time of purchasing this, I had to get this directly from the Onesize website, which, by the way, if you're in the UK, is perfectly possible. It just takes a little bit longer. Obviously, if you're in the US, you can get this one on Sephora and various other outlets. And this one has 38 different shades and costs £41. 16 ingredients, it says, which is a limited number of ingredients, apparently, stripped back. Long wear waterproof sweatproof formula, giving full coverage and maximum comfort to visibly blur and smooth without clogging your pores. So the key things to look for here are those claims: the full coverage, the soft matte, waterproof and sweatproof, long wear weightless, non-pore clogging, non-comedogenic, and just the 16 clean ingredients, so very stripped back. It's also vegan and cruelty free, and this contains amino acid, how do you say this one, lauryl lysine, which prevents makeup breaking down and provides water and sweat resistance. It's got something called an alkane complex, which is 100% plant-derived emollients which replace silicone for a smooth feel, so there's no silicone in this. And it's also got rice silk powder, which blurs the skin with a soft focus effect. So now I would be playing you my check-in videos, and unfortunately with all the holiday releases I've been doing lately, I've had to delete so many videos because my memory's just getting packed right now. I've actually filmed 2 check-in videos for this and they've both been deleted. I am gutted about that, so I'm so sorry about that, but I can tell you about the journey I've gone through with this and why I'm going to apply it the way I am now. So firstly, on day one, I tried this with the new Onesize primer, and I tried it without the primer on this side. I just used the Bobbi Brown primer, which I love to use, the cream, and it argued so badly with the primer on this side, I couldn't even keep it on to do a check-in video because it was so bad. It wasn't just like slightly breaking up, there were just like little patches breaking up everywhere. I looked like there was something wrong with me. I had to take it off. So that was a big fail. So then I put it on top of the Bobbi Brown, and then I put my concealer on. I was using the one I've been using pretty much every day recently, which is the Westman Atelier, and it didn't like the Westman Atelier sitting on it either. So, and then by the evening it had caked up really badly. It was quite cakey all around here anyway, so it was arguing with my primer, well, the Onesize primer, arguing with my concealer and breaking up and caking immediately, getting worse throughout the day and looking worse in the evening. I also tried to apply this with the sponge provided. I say provided, actually I had to buy it, but it's a very funky, so it's filthy from my first application, but this is the shape of it. So I was curious to try it, but I just did not like this sponge at all. It's just every bit of it. There's no like fine tip for getting into anything. It just felt like too chunky and clumsy. I didn't like that at all. But anyway, I think the reason they're selling the sponge with it is because they recommend sponge application, and from my experience I would agree. So I tried it with the sponge and I tried it with the brush. The brush didn't work very well at all. Actually, that was on day 2. Day 2, I moved to a different primer. I used the Tom Ford one side and I stuck with my Bobbi Brown this side. And it sat better on those, and it also didn't argue with my concealer. I actually changed it to the matte concealer, but it didn't argue with that, so I thought I was onto a winner. But I did have tried to apply it with a brush, and it left so many brush strokes, and it was so difficult to work in. I can see why they're marketing this along with the sponge. It needs to have a sponge application, this one. It doesn't seem to like brushes, well, certainly not on my skin. So that day, the check-in was as bad as the day before. Caking everywhere, really, really bad. Also, it wasn't sweat proof or oil proof, certainly, because my oils came through as well. So I'm not a very oily person either. Now, as far as I know, this is very much geared towards people with oily skin, but it still let my oils come through. Now, I think the reason it's caked so badly on me and disagreed with me so badly is because I'm predominantly dry skinned. So my overall thoughts on this, having tried it over a week and tried several different primers with, without, every time I try it, it argues with at least one product. There seems to be something it gets upset with, and it clings to any dry patches I've got. At the moment, this is around here. My sort of winter tretinoin dry skin is kicking in a bit more. But I was wondering, is this all down to the heating coming on and the time of year? So I actually tested all my favourite foundations over the last few days, and they all worked fine. In fact, I'm testing a new one, which I'll be reviewing for you soon, and that didn't react either. So it's not the weather, it's not the dry skin, it is this. It does not agree with me at all. So what I'm going to do today anyway, and this could be the last time I ever try this foundation, but I will try it on for you on camera. I'm going to apply this on top of absolutely nothing. So all I've got on is toner and a very light moisturiser. I've skipped my vitamin C cream and I've skipped my SPF. Not something I recommend, but I'm going to do that today just to see if that's what makes it work. Maybe it just argues with everything in my skincare, because I use the same vitamin C, the Dr. Sam Bunting, and I use an SPF, the same SPF I've been using all year actually, pretty much, which is the Mary and May, which is Cica Soothing Sunscreen. Anything with Cica in seems to be beautiful. Nothing is ever argued with these, the vitamin C or that, nothing in my collection. But let's see if this just applies better without that. So anyway, maybe I should show you the bottle a bit closer up actually. So it is a nice bottle. Excuse all the handprints over it now. Very heavy, solid feel and a nice pump, and the shade that I've got is Fair 30, which does actually lean a bit yellow and warm, but it doesn't look too bad on actually, but it is a bit yellow for me. It's not really a neutral. So I'm going to go in with my beauty blender. This looks dirty, but I have actually cleaned it, so that's as clean as it gets. But you can see how thick this is because it hasn't budged at all. So this is a pretty thick one, which is another reason to use a sponge. So for me, when it's this thick, I like to really tap it out on the back of my hand, get it onto the sponge before I even think about applying. I don't want to be putting a large amount on, and I want it nicely worked into the sponge. So let's see if straight away it starts arguing. Can you see straight away I'm getting sponge marks as it's moving across my face? Look at that. Now I don't have anything on underneath. Anyway, I'm going to keep going, but I'm telling you, I have spent a lot of time fixing my face. Oops, maybe that was a bit too much then. I've spent a lot of time fixing my face after applying this because of the amount of problems it's caused me when I put things on top. So I've had to take it off, put it on again, take it off, put it on again, just to try and get it to work. I've literally wiped sections of my face off, like when it argued with the concealer. It's going on better on the forehead there. So obviously this is going to be quite a light coverage because I'm using a sponge, but then it doesn't seem to work with anything else. I'm going to just keep pressing it in, and hopefully it will just work its way in as it warms up here where it just didn't seem to want to work. And then the problem area, I'm really tapping into my hand now, is around here. So let's see how it goes. So this is probably the lightest application I've done so far. And so far it's looking a lot better around the chin area. So far, apart from that first initial blip, it's actually looking okay. So maybe it's just that it just doesn't like any of my skincare. But for me that's no good because I use that vitamin C. I've got it on renewal, auto renewal. It comes out for me every month. I use it for everything, every day I mean. It works with everything. I'm not prepared to change it for a foundation. I don't understand why this one doesn't like it. But that is sitting 1,000,000% better than it did. So I wanted to give you all that background because I don't want you to think it looks great on me and then think, oh, I'll go and get it, and then you have all these problems, because you need to be aware of the problems I've had, which you may not have. And like I said, I do think this is one very much designed for greasy, oily type skin, which I don't really have. So if you were going to try this and you do have dry skin, you definitely need to have some sort of hydration. So I've got a very hydrating moisturiser on, but one that's a stripped back, lightweight one, but still very hydrating. When I say stripped back, the Bobbi Brown one's got all sorts of things like niacinamide added in. So I wanted to keep one that's quite simple, so it's less likely to argue with this. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm getting full coverage using this sponge. If you look, I'd say it's medium coverage at best. So I'll try and build it up a bit, but not in the chin area because I just think it's not worth the risk. So I've just put half a pump on my hand. So I've used up that one pump. I'm going to start putting a bit more here. Let's see if I can build it, or is it just going, yeah, see I'm getting sponge marks. It's not easy to build up. I'll take it here as well. I'm building up on my forehead quite well. So it is building up, but you just need to be patient with it, because certainly on my cheeks for some reason it's a bit more tricky. But if you just keep patting, definitely not swiping with this, definitely not, but just keep going, eventually those marks seem to go and it seems to build in. So I do have pretty good coverage from that now. So that's now sitting well without any problems. It's not even clinging to dryness, so the change is incredible compared with previous attempts. So it definitely seems it doesn't like my SPF or vitamin C, one or the other, maybe both. I'm going to carry on now and see if it will tolerate me putting products on top. So I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury contour ones. I just need to add a bit of product there. This is something that pretty much works with everything for me, so hopefully it'll work today. The foundation actually came with this bag as well, with maybe showing you just a free sort of makeup bag. So you can get a reasonable amount in this, just a clear bag. I'm trying to show you the full size of it here. There. So the sponge can stay in there. Never to be used again. That was a mistake. But anyway, so let's put this contour in and see if it mixes okay with this foundation. Seems to be going okay so far. So the next one to check will be concealer. And I'm going to go with the Westman Atelier again, because that's the one that works with everything. And on day one it didn't like that. So let's go back and see if it is happy with it now, because maybe it was arguing with everything because of already mixing with the vitamin C. So far so good. It seems to be mixing in okay. I'm going to take some of the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin bronzer. This is in the lightest shade. Just add this on top. So we're going all cream at the moment. I'm sticking with creams as well because I want to try that cream blush from Vieve at the end, so I'd rather apply it at least first on top of creams rather than powder. But it does seem that every product so far is working okay on top of this foundation. So now I'm putting the concealer from Westman Atelier. This is in L2. And then I've got L1, which I use for more of a sort of brightening shade. Now this was the part where it really caked up by here. So let's keep our fingers crossed for today. So starting with the under eye, so at the moment that's not really meeting foundation, so hopefully this will be okay. So now tapping into this area here, and let's see how they get on together today. Looks like they're getting on absolutely fine. The difference here is like night and day. Honest to goodness, it is such a big difference. So it could be the vitamin C and it could be the SPF. I think I'll try this again tomorrow, and then I'll pin a note to the top for you and let you know. I'll reintroduce the vitamin C and see what happens. So after you've seen this video, if you want to hear about that update, just check the pinned comment in the comment section at least 24 hours after I've posted the actual video, and I'll let you know if just vitamin C alone caused the problem. Everything's gone on perfectly, honestly. I feel like a fraud now saying this was terrible. Maybe my skin was having a bad day. I don't know. But I do think it's most likely that it was the vitamin C or SPF, because everything else worked. As soon as I stopped this and tried the next foundation, it was fine. But anyway, I really like this finish. So that is concealer, contour, bronzer sitting nicely on top. The one product from Onesize I have been using with this, which I've absolutely loved actually, is the pink setting powder. So this I've heard is mostly good for people with oily skin. I've got mostly dry and I have absolutely no problems with this at all. In fact, I really like it. This is a huge tub, 34.4 grams in here, and it's finely milled, blurring loose setting powder, delivering 24-hour shine control and a smooth matte finish. And here it is inside. So you need to tap out into the lid. Here it is in the lid. If I show you a bit on my hand before I start to rub it in. So this is described as having performance powder microspheres which create a silky smooth texture, and surface treated pigments which aid the skin in adhesion. Let's move my sleeve before I have a powdered sleeve. This is soft focus powder that visibly blurs fine lines and improves the look of textured skin. It also says this is free of sulfates, SLS and SLES, free of parabens, formaldehydes, formaldehyde releasing agents, phthalates, how do you say that one? Phthalates? I don't know, mineral oil, retinol, palmitate, oh this is such a challenge, oxybenzone, coal tar, hydroquinone, triclosan and triclocarbon. None of those are in this, if you know what those are, because I don't know what most of those are. I know some of them. And it contains less than 1% of any sort of synthetic fragrance. It's also vegan, cruelty-free and gluten-free. So a bit like the foundation, they are stripping them right back free of all the nasties. So that's good news. You're less likely to have any problems with this. So I'm using my Mario puff, which I've really been enjoying since I got this. I'm working a bit of this into the back of my hand. I'm going to go back into this concealer, although it's worth noting with this Westman Atelier concealer, you don't even need to set it, it sets itself, but I just prefer to set it. And also I like how this powder will just give a little pop of sort of brightness with it having that pink shade. So this is ultra pink for fair to medium skin tones. And I'll come in a bit closer to show you just how blurring that is. It is really, really, really good. So with this being a matte foundation, I don't really want to set the whole face and give it completely flat finish. So I'm just going for the T-zone. But I have used this powder all over the face. And like I said, even though a lot of people say this doesn't work so well on dry skin, as long as I've got a well hydrated base, I've had absolutely no problems with this at all. It's very blurring. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's one of the best I've tried, and I've been testing out just about every single powder on the market recently because of the Givenchy formula change. So this is one of the best ones I've tested actually. So I'll keep that powder to the side because I might try this Vieve blush on top of powder at the end, I'm not sure. So let's move now onto this Vieve collection. I think I'll start actually with the eyeshadow just in case there's any fallout. At least if I have to remove everything or anything, I won't have any blush. So here is the packaging. It's the sort of classic Vieve packaging and it's called Gilt, G-I-L-T. And I do have a swatch video. Actually, it's a swatch video of the entire collection, but I will play it now so you can see the swatches of this eyeshadow. So here's the full swatch video for you. So this is £29 and it's made in Italy and it's got gilded gold and rich browns. I have tried Vieve eyeshadows before, I've just one, and I absolutely loved it. If you want to know more about the Vieve brand, you will actually find on my channel, in my playlist, I do have a full brand focus playlist and Vieve is one of them. So if you want to see that, because I absolutely love Vieve, and I have actually recently, where are you? Here we are. Been trying out the new foundation. Well, it's not really a foundation, it's called the Skin Nova Complexion Balm, which I've also reviewed here on my channel, so if you want to see a review for this, but this is a fabulous product, so really been enjoying that. Yeah, love the brand Vieve. So let's go in with the lightest of these powders. Using my Rapper number 1. Quite a bit of kickback, but from swatching these, they're exceptionally smooth. They're very, very high quality. I think Vieve is sort of YSL quality, but not YSL price tag. That's how I see it. It's that good. They are fabulous. Like I said, they are made in Italy. They do have that sort of buttery smooth softness you get with YSL and Guerlain sort of quads, but you don't get the price tag. And this shade is called Nepo or Nepo. I'm not entirely sure how that's pronounced. Got the shade names on the back of the palette. That's a lovely, lovely colour. So I'm taking this above my crease and into the crease and the outer V area. So this is very much a base, a transition base. And using the Rapper 3 then, taking it underneath. And now with the Rapper 15 Mini, going into the darker shade. So this is a matte and it's called Trust. So I'm going to take this now into the outer V and just start to build up a little bit of depth with this. You can hopefully see that these just blend into each other and sort of melt beautifully. And pop a bit of this darker matte underneath as well, just going as far in as I went above. So stopping here. I'm also going to take a little bit here, sort of going tight to the lash line. I'm going to try to avoid any sort of eyeliner to see if I can just get enough really from this deeper shade. It's not a very deep shade for an eyeliner, so I'm just looking really for a bit of depth there, which it is giving me. So this one, the third one, is called Socialite. This is a shimmer. So I'm going to take this here because I want the gold to be on the inner section. And I want it to really make my eye pop. So I'm just patting that there. That's a stunning colour actually, look at that, it's lovely. I think this one would look nice all over the lid. In fact, I think with this palette you could definitely go with one or the other, so gold or this. I'm going to try both on today so you can see all of them together. And then go into Gold Mine. And this is now going to go across the rest of my lid. Wow, look at that. That is stunning. That really is stunning. What a lovely combination of colours. I think this is, with the gold, it's definitely bringing holiday vibes. This colour combination is also giving me autumn vibes as well, which I absolutely adore. I got quite a bit of fallout then from those shimmers, so you really do need to be careful when applying them. They remove quite easily though. The brush I always use, by the way, to remove fallout is this Niki LaRose one, the N14. There's something about it seems to sort of pick them up and take them away rather than spreading them across your face, which is very handy. This is a brush I use for lots of things. It's the one I used to apply the powder just now in my T-zone as well. It's a really good brush from BK Beauty. So I'm bringing this gold so it's reaching sort of the first third of the lid. I'm going to go into my Tom Ford palette, which I keep dipping into since I got it. This is the Black Diamond one. It's for this one here. I just love this one for the inner corner. And because I've got such a glittery eye, I just want to have a bright inner corner with no sparkle. And this shade is so perfect for that pop of light to brighten this area without bringing the sparkle. And I'm going to take it into the brow as well. Any sort of white powder would work for this, so I often use the one in the Mario Neutrals palette. You could also be using a setting powder. I'm not sure about the one I used today with it being pink, but it probably would work. So I've gone off camera and I've done my mascara. I did end up going in with a little bit of a black liner underneath and slightly above. I felt it just needed it because that brown was not dark enough, but I absolutely love that finish. It's definitely giving that holiday look, isn't it? And you are getting the finish and the quality of top brands like YSL, you really are. So if you want very high quality luxury Italian formulas in very good shade ranges, there's not just this one, obviously this is the Christmas one. Check out the Vieve page because you can get all sorts of different colour stories. They are releasing more all the time. But this one, fabulous. 10 out of 10 for formula. Absolutely love the finish. Love this gold. Beautiful. So anyway, let's move on now with the one I'm a bit more nervous about because reds are not my thing. So I have gone and done it. I've done this for you. So will this work? I don't know. Red is definitely not my thing. But I must admit that the lipstick does look like it's my sort of red if I have to wear a red. So it might just work. The blush, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. This one is called Strawb. So if you're not familiar with these, they are liquid blushes. They cost £24. So here it is. It's quite a thick cream, enriched with skin-loving ingredients, including vitamin C and E. It's a buildable formula that's luminous, and it's inspired by some of Vieve's best-selling shades. So I'm going to pat this in with a brush on the back of my hand before I do anything. So this is a fresh strawberry red shade, which is what was making me nervous. But once it's patted out, it doesn't look too bad on the back of my hand. So hopefully, I'm really going gently here. Hopefully it'll look okay. This is not a shade I would wear normally, so I don't know. That tiny bit might just be enough. I can already feel that that's a bit too much for my skin tone. So I probably put too much on the back of my hand. Obviously, if you've got a deeper skin tone or if you just like to have a lot of blush, you could go a lot more than I just have. I think I'll use my puff to go around the edges. Still got a tiny bit of foundation on. So as you can see, this is a formula that works in very, very easily. You can do this with your fingers even. I've done that before. I really love one of their shades I've been using for autumn. A shade called Piazza, which is more of a sort of brown sun-kissed shade. I love that one. I'm hoping the lipstick will make me like this shade on me. I think if you like a red blush, you're going to like this a lot because it's going on beautifully. Look how lovely, glowing and natural it looks. It's just the shade for me. I'm not convinced it suits me. Anyway, let's keep going. Now I would say I'll try this on top of powder, but trying it on top of powder increases the pigment, so I can't really risk doing that because it will look crazy on me. I'll just do a tiny bit because I do like to review these things for you, so Okay, let's risk it. I'll put the powder, the Onesize powder, over this side here. Can always try and calm it down, I suppose. So that's how it looks with powder on top. This is how it looks without. Obviously you're losing that nice natural sort of glow. So I'll put a tiny bit on my brush and then go on top of the powder. And it's working absolutely fine on top of powder. Again, I hardly touched the blush, and look how much pigment I'm getting. Huge amount of pigment. So you will, as usual, get a bit more pigment when it goes on top of powder. So this is how it looks under and on top of powder, and this is how it looks just on its own. So this, I definitely prefer the finish of this myself. I like the sort of natural flush, but I do need to even them up now. So I'll powder this side as well and then even it up, but I am hoping I can calm this down. Just send me positive thoughts that this will work, because I'm doing this to show you, but I cannot go around looking like this. That is just ridiculous on me. So I do think it works on fair skin if you use a very small amount. I'm going to reserve judgment on whether it fully suits me until I've got the lipstick and everything else on. So I'm now going in with the puff to go around all the edges, and I'm probably going to go over it a bit as well, because I really do need to dull this down. That's definitely starting to calm down, but I do feel, I don't know, I just don't like reds on me. I feel like someone's punching me in the face. I'm going to go in with my Chanel Lavender blush, which is my sort of rescue blush in this case. And I'm going to put this over the top, hoping this will now bring it down a bit for me and turn it into everything I need it to be, which is exactly what it does. It's like magic, this stuff. Look at that. Straight away, it doesn't look quite as bold or as red, it's just diluted it a bit. I love this blush for exactly that purpose. That's the only thing I use it for, and I keep it in the top, my top drawer. And that's exactly why. That's better. And that's how much I've still got on the back of my hands. So you really don't need much. Just look how much I created on my face before I calmed it down. And I only used half the amount I put on my hand. So I definitely recommend these blushes, but for my skin tone, you need to do quite a bit to calm this one down. So I'm not sure I'd recommend this one for my skin tone unless you like the way it looked, but I personally don't. So I'll just go in with some highlighter. I'll actually pull out the stunning one from Hermès, which I'm loving using at the moment, if I can open it. I've got a review of this on my channel. It's actually my most recent video. And this is the Rose Gold Hermès highlighter, which is absolutely glorious. Love it. So now onto the Satin Slip lipstick. Now these lipstick cases are really, really nice. I love them. They've got a sort of ridged edge, so they've got quite a nice feel to them. And this shade is called Hickie, which I don't really like the name of that, but there we are. I do like the look of this shade though, so I've already swatched it in that video for you, but I'll just show you. It's a lovely shade of red. I think I'm going to like this one. Fingers crossed. So this is super pigmented, so rather than applying any more to do the edges, I'm going to use this brush. This shade is described as a brick red, which has more of a sort of orange tone in it, doesn't it? Which I definitely prefer. I really do like this. The only thing I would say is this formula is not overly hydrating, so I think I would need to add a lip gloss fairly soon to hydrate my lips. But it is comfortable. It's not super drying, but I can definitely tell I will need that on top. But also you get a fair bit of longevity out of a formula like this, and I have actually tried one of their lipsticks before in this range and it did last quite a long time, so this is quite a good one for a night out. So you can just keep a sort of clear gloss and you probably get quite a bit of colour, and you can just top up hydration rather than lipstick. I think that is really, really pretty actually. I love that colour. What do you think? I don't want to add any more really, but it could be built up a lot. It really could. I'll maybe just pop a tiny bit in the middle for you. That is starting to feel a bit more hydrating as I apply a bit more actually, so maybe I won't have to reach for a gloss quite so quickly. Actually, that is really changed. It still feels very grippy though, but definitely more hydrating. Yeah, I think maybe just adding that bit more has given me more hydration from it. So it is actually quite hydrating now. So I could probably go at least an hour or so before I need a lip balm, which for me is good because I need a lip balm all the time. So anyway, what do you think of that colour? I think that's gorgeous. So anyway, this is the full collection on my lips, on my face from Vieve. I just don't like the blush. I don't like the colour of it on me, and I do think it looks a bit better now I've calmed it down, but I don't think this look works that well with it. I would much rather have sort of rusty brown, I think. I've been digging out one of my old Dior blushes here. This one's not available anymore, but this is number 537. But this sort of shade of blush I would prefer to wear with this look. I think that would look better. So I would say, for me personally, the blush is a fail because of the shade, again, not because of the formula. The lipstick, fabulous. For a red, I love it. I think it is really nice. So the eye look and the lips, perfect, perfect. Really enjoy them, and definitely think that they're very Christmassy and party, giving that party vibe. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I can't say a bad word about Vieve, I really can't. Every single time I've tried anything from them, the formulas have worked perfectly. They are really good quality. So really, really like them and definitely recommend checking them out. And the foundation, I mean, how is it looking? It's still, let me look in my magnification mirror here. Do you know what? It's not looking too bad at all. So maybe it just doesn't like vitamin C or SPF. Check out for my comment, as I said. I will definitely pin a note and let you know on that. But at the moment, it's looking absolutely really good. Which is so strange. I was going to totally roast this foundation because it was driving me around the twist. So maybe all along it was the vitamin C. I'll definitely do that tomorrow so we can find out. Anyway, sorry about the check-in videos not being available for you today, but I hope you found this helpful, and I would love to hear your thoughts on the foundation and on the Vieve collection. Have you tried any of the products I've shown you today? Will you be trying any of them? I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. And if you've enjoyed this and found it helpful, I'd love it so much if you subscribe to my channel. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for reaching the end of another one of my videos. You know how much I appreciate you. I really, really do. And I hope to see all of you for my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.